Ladies and gentlemen, we are live once again here today for another predictions video for the NASCAR Fantasy Podcast. Going over Pocono Race 2 predictions. Following Pocono Race 1, I had the late race live stream last night, late post-race live stream last night, and I gotta say that was something to be there in person again. And this is my final thoughts on it again. To be there in person and to witness what happened, it's just insane. It's mind-boggling because that should not have happened. You wouldn't have expected the leader to blow a tire on the final corner of the final lap. And on top of that, the great battle between him and Bowman that led to Larson blowing a tire before that, and then with Kyle Busch even before the caution as well was a lot of fun. But thanks for everybody tuning in here today, just outside Pocono Raceway in a nearby hotel. Going to be at the track once again here today for the Xfinity and the Cup race. But again, predictions, fantasy advice for you guys here very early this morning. I have to do it super early because I got to get to the track before noon for the Xfinity race. So without further ado, let's hop on into the predictions for this race today. A lot of the predictions are going to be similar to what we had yesterday. So we're going to actually start off with the must-haves today because most of those guys are going to be the same as who I had mentioned for the must-haves yesterday. We're going to start off with number 1, Kyle Busch. He finished second in both the Truck and the Cup Series race yesterday at Pocono. He's got another shot here today to win. He had one of the 4 fastest cars, I'd say one of the 3 fastest cars throughout yesterday's race, pretty much from start to finish. Didn't matter how the track was changing when the sun came out later in the race. It ended up working out for Kyle Busch. He had the track position for most of the day. He was in the top 3 all day long. After the second place finish yesterday, that increases his statistics in recent races, where he still has 3 wins in the last 10 races at Pocono now. But he's got 6 top 5s in the last 8 Pocono races. He's got 9 top 10s in the last 10 Pocono races now after yesterday. Start Kyle Busch. I know with the inversion, he's going to be starting 19th. It's going to be tough for those guys that got inverted to score stage points in stage 1, so you might see them pit before the end of the stage. A lot of pit strategy is going to go into this race, much like you saw through yesterday. You're going to see multiple pit strategies once again. And, hey, Kyle Busch, it cycled him to the lead at least for one point in time, and then he just couldn't nail that late race restart. But if he could have gotten ahead of Bowman got ahead of Larson, that would have been 2 cars that Larson would have had to pass. So you never know if Kyle Busch just would have nailed the restart. He could have ended up going on to victory lane as well. He could have been in that situation. Anyway, Kyle Busch must have. He's going to compete for the win again today, I'd have to imagine. And he will get a top 10 finish easily. Again, I predict top 10s and then race win pick at the end for those of you that are new. So even though I'm saying the obvious guys with the must-have are drivers that you should have in your lineup first and foremost, and then obviously I think they're going to finish in the top 10 and probably score a lot of stage points. Also, Kyle Busch won a stage yesterday as well. He won stage 1, so we'll see what he can do today. Denny Hamlin is the next driver in the must-have. He was also on the must-have list yesterday at Pocono. Still has 6 career wins at Pocono, and he did run top 10 all day yesterday. Finished 6th in each of the first 2 stages, and then in the end of the final stage, it was Denny Hamlin finishing in the top 5, had a 4th place finish. So Denny Hamlin still has 2 wins in the last 4 Pocono races now. 6 straight top 10s at Pocono as well after yesterday's finish, and he's got 3 straight top 5s, if I'm not mistaken. He's got 4 straight top 5s with 2 wins, a 2nd and 4th yesterday. So Hamlin, Busch, easy top 10s. They'll compete likely for the win on strategy. They were on that same strategy yesterday as well, which got Kyle Busch losing my voice. Excuse me. I might need to take a drink of water here soon or something. It's about that time in the weekend where I'm finally starting to lose it after all the talking I had to do yesterday and now today. So twice the strain of my voice, I guess you would say, compared to normal with 2 Cup races. But yeah, Lucas NASCAR for Life 18, welcome to the stream. And again, welcome everybody else that is watching currently as well. So as of right now, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, easy top 10s. Another driver to look out for today for a potential race win as well is going to be William Byron. William Byron, again, had one of the 3 fastest cars in my opinion. He was right there with Kyle Busch and Larson until Larson broke away as the dominant car. But remember, Larson not only starting at the back today, but he's also in a backup car compared to everybody else. So who's to say that his backup car isn't going to be as fast as his primary car? Because he didn't look very well when they unloaded. I don't know how many changes they can make to the race car overnight to try to get it to where they had for that the end of the race. If they'll have to work on it throughout the race to try to get it to where they had yesterday. Because with Kyle Larson, again having that backup car is going to be the huge thing. And he wasn't even like he was fast at the beginning. He had probably about a top 5 car, but I'd say very early on, stage 1, first half of stage 2, I thought Kyle Busch and William Byron were faster than Kyle Larson. It was that end of stage 2, that final pit stop in stage 2. They got something right with that third or second pit stop of the day that it clicked. Between that and the sun was starting to come out for really the first time all day. It was definitely helping that 5 team. Maybe it loosened the track up. We know Larson, and he likes to drive a looser car, so maybe with the sun coming out, that definitely helped that. Not sure exactly what the forecast is going to be today. Right now, it's really sunny. It was weird because yesterday it was sunny in the morning, and by the time I got to the track, the clouds started rolling in, and it was overcast the entire truck race, and then probably the first half of the Cup race before the sun broke through. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what the weather's like today. If it's sunny, maybe look out for Kyle Larson. He's definitely not going to be up there in stage 1 with it only being 30. I'd be shocked if he does that. Well, I mean, he's shocked me so many times this year, so I guess it wouldn't be. It'd be par for the course, I guess you would say. But yeah, William Byron again. He is on a must-have list right now. As far as Byron's recent finishes at Pocono, obviously he ran very good yesterday. Finished third. We're going to look to see where he finished in last year's doubleheader races as well, because I did not have him as a must-have yesterday, but I will have him as a must-have today, because, again, same cars. Everybody's in the same cars, so he's going to have that advantage. Don't be surprised if Byron could compete for the win. Last year he finished 7th in race 2, so it's back-to-back top 10s at least. The first race last year at Pocono, Byron finished... That's so hot. He finished 14th. Okay. Let me check 2019 real quick, too, because it's with the same package. 2019, Byron finished 4th. Okay, so... Yeah, he's got good track record here at Pocono over the last couple of years. And he finished 9th also in 2019. So 2019, William Byron finished 9th and 4th. Last season, he finished 14th in the first race, but he did come back to get a 7th place finish in race 2. And then yesterday, he finished 3rd. So he's got 2 top 5s in the last 5 the last 5 Pocono races, 4 top 10s in the last Pocono races. Last 5 Pocono races. So William Byron is a must-have. He'll be in my lineup again today. He should be in your lineup too. Now into the sleeper picks. Not sure exactly what to think about Daniel Suarez for a sleeper pick. Excuse me. He was good early. Sun came out. Not so good late. And that was kind of the same with Bubba Wallace, because Wallace was in the top 10 early, and then he kind of faded. Really, when the sun came out, that really changed a lot of drivers' handling. The only drivers that really stayed the same handling-wise was Kyle Busch and Byron. They were fast all day, no matter the track conditions. So I'd say for sure that again, Byron and Busch will be fast. But again, as far as the dark horses, out of performance base yesterday, with where we're going to be today, let me see the starting lineup too. I know I'm doing this all on the fly, but it's because they raced yesterday, and I, literally was streaming till like a quarter after 11 last night with the post race. All right. So Chris Buescher is going to be on the pole. That's going to be big for him. Michael McDowell will also be on the front row for today's race. But yeah, big for Buescher because he is 4 points below the cutoff line. So maybe he can keep that track position and get a lot of stage points back. It's possible. Daniel Suarez will be starting 7th. I don't really trust a lot of those other guys. Truex is going to be up there. But as you'll see here in a little bit, I'm not so high on Truex. Tyler Reddick had a quiet day. He finished 11th. Okay, number 1 dark horse, Kurt Busch. Going into yesterday's race, I actually had Kurt Busch as a don't have. I'll have him as a sleeper today. Just moved inside the playoff cutoff line. He is now fourth, or 4 points to the good. He's 16th in the playoff standings currently, and we'll see what Kurt Busch can do. Honestly, I mean, he ran good yesterday. He got the track position with his strategy, but he also had a fast race car. He led some laps. He actually led 12 laps in yesterday's race. He did win a stage as well. He won stage two, and he ran top 10 all day. He finished sixth. Very well surprised me yesterday. I was not expecting him to get a top 10 or run really in the top 10, and he proved me wrong. So how could I not go Kurt Busch for today's race? Same car again. So look out for Kurt Busch. He'll be starting 14th, but with the inversion of the faster cars, honestly, look at him and Logano probably to get some really good stage points in stage one. I guess they'll be starting a spot higher because Larson's got to go to a backup car. There's no way they're going to get that 5 car fix from yesterday. If they do, then I guess they'll start 11th. But yeah, Larson's definitely going to a backup, I'd have to imagine. So Kurt Busch will be a sleeper pick. I don't really know if I have another sleeper pick, honestly. There's not like anybody that I could say definitively is going to get a top 10 that would be a sleeper. I'd say maybe Suarez again, but he didn't get that yesterday. Although he ran there early, and again, this is one of his better racetracks. He finished second in 2018 here. Career best finish. I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is like a spur of the moment thing. That's what you guys get because we had our cup race yesterday. So you get me thinking on the fly. I did take some notes, like with the must-haves and the don't-haves at least. But yeah, as far as the sleeper picks, I didn't do a whole lot of research. Because Josh Chastain, I mean, for Chip Ganassi Racing, he looked quick too, but now he's got to start at the back, 33rd at least, if not even further, because I don't know if they have to go to a backup car or not. He did finish the race, but finished a couple laps down with some damage. 1 lap down with damage. I don't know. Austin Dillon had his issues. He started 21st today. Again, Reddick, I mean, he was better, but I'm not going to say definitively he's going to get a top 10 like I usually do. I mean, the sleeper picks, are like any other pick. I have to feel 80, 90% confident, at least if not 100% confident on that driver getting the top 10 for me to actually like give you guys the advice and say, yeah, he's going to have a top 10. I'd say, probably Suarez if I did have to pick one, but I'm not going to pick him. I'm just going to leave it at Kurt Busch. One sleeper pick for today's race. I think Kurt Busch gets the top 10. As far as the don't haves go, I do have 2 of them on the don't haves list. And these are guys that have actually kind of been under the radar lately with their struggles. Not Brad Keselowski this time, I will say. We're going to start off with Christopher Bell. Bell did not run good at all yesterday. He was outside the top 10 all day long. He actually ended up finishing 17th. And as far as recent finishes for Christopher Bell, by the way, Bell has fallen from grace in the point standings right now. He is 15th in the point standings. And I mean, he's got a win, thankfully. Could you imagine if he didn't have a win, how close to the cutoff line he'd be? He'd be honestly right about where Eric Jones was this time last year. So really not much of a difference between driver as far as, where one is versus the other. The only difference is Bell got that win early in the year and Jones couldn't win last season. It's amazing how good of a start to the year Bell had. These are his finishes in the last lot of races here. 17th yesterday at Pocono. He did finish 9th at Nashville. But then before the All-Star break, 24th at Sonoma, 24th at Charlotte, 38th at Coda, 21st at Dover, 14th at Darlington, 28th at Kansas, 17th at Talladega. He's only got one top 10 finish. Let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's only got one top 10 in the last 9 races. Christopher Bell. And again, he was slow yesterday. So I'm going to say, excuse me, I'm going to say that Christopher Bell is not going to get a top 10 again today. He does have the track position to start with the inversion. He'll be starting fourth, which is good for him, but I don't trust it. I don't trust Bell. He has been struggling mightily. We've been talking about Brad Keselowski being around a 16 exit. I think Christopher Bell you can look at as being around a 16 exit too, the way he has been running recently. They still got races, much like Keselowski's team, to pick it up before the playoffs start, so that's a good thing. We still got 8 more races, 7 after today. But I do not trust Christopher Bell in today's race, especially to get a top 10 run. Another driver I'm going to have on the don't haves list, and this is going to be a driver that's going to surprise you when I read the stats off, is going to be Martin Truex Jr. Truex also did not run good yesterday, which is weird because he was on the same strategy that Chastain and Blaney were, and the only one who's actually fast enough to keep the track position throughout the race after that Newman accident was Blaney. He was in the top 5 all day, but Chastain fell back. He was in 15th before he even blew the tire. And then Truex fell outside of the top 10 as well on that last restart. He was about 8th, which isn't bad. But then, I don't know, they must have went the wrong way on adjustments under that last pit stop, and he ended up falling all the way back to 18th. He could have done that intentionally, though, to get the inversion order. That's possible. He might be playing mind tricks on me. But recent races for Martin Truex Jr. have not been great. He's actually really been falling in the standings, too. He's back to 7th. He's got 9 top 10s on the year, but considering he's got 3 wins in 18 races now, he's only finishing top 10 in half the races this season. And again, recently he hasn't been great by any means. 18th yesterday at Pocono, 22nd at Nashville, even 13th in the All-Star race. He did finish 3rd at Sonoma, but then before Sonoma, he was 29th at Charlotte, 35th at Coda, and 19th at Dover before that win at Darlington. So, even if you include the All-Star race here, he's only got 1 top 10 in the last 7 races. So Truex and that team is struggling too. The only track he ran well at was Sonoma, which is one of his best tracks on the circuit. And he has won a couple times here at Pocono, but they just missed again yesterday. Him and Bell both. So I'm going to say Martin Truex Jr. is not going to get a top 10 again today. I would not put Truex in your lineup if you have the choice. So again, just to go back through this quickly one more time, the must-haves today: Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, William Byron. I think they all get top 10s. Good chance they'll compete for the win as well. As far as the sleeper picks go, just Kurt Busch for today. I could have put Brad Keselowski in there again, but I don't really consider Brad as a sleeper pick compared to how he's ran this year. I did yesterday, and then he got a top 10, which I expected him to get. So, I think there's a good chance he gets a top 10 again today, but I'm not going to put him in the sleeper for the second straight day. I think now that he got that top 10, now if he starts to not get top 10s again, then I guess I could do that in a few weeks to come, but not for today. So again, Kurt Busch sleeper, I think he gets a top 10. And then the don't haves, Truex, Christopher Bell. I do not think either one of those 2 drivers are going to get top 10s. It's just so weird because even if you throw Bubba Wallace in the mix too, the Toyota camp, he had 2 JGR Toyotas that were competing for the win. Hamlin and Busch. They both had 4th place finishes or better. But then you have the other 2 Gibbs cars of Bell and Truex finished 17th and 18th. And they were outside the top 10 most of the day. And then if you throw Bubba Wallace in the mix, he kind of had like a mixture of both, where he was in the top 10 in the first half of the race. And the second half of the race, he fell outside of the top 10 and finished better than 2 of the Joe Gibbs. I mean, he was better than Truex and Bell, but he was nowhere near Busch and Hamlin, so he kind of fell in the middle of that spectrum of how JGR ran yesterday. So I don't know. Yeah, Toyota's really weird. But again, too, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, especially Hamlin, is one of, if not their best tracks in recent years, especially for Hamlin. Hamlin, this is probably his best racetrack that is not a super speedway, and the best racetrack overall, even with the super speedways, honestly. 6 career wins here, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But those are my predictions for today's race. Like, share, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you for post-race analysis. If not tonight, it will be tomorrow. We usually go the day after the race at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but because we had a doubleheader this weekend, I had to get yesterday's post-race live stream out from yesterday's race last night when got back to the hotel. So thanks for everybody tuning in once again here today. Thanks for your support as always. Enjoy the race here today. I'm going to enjoy the race from my seat in the grandstands. It'll be a lot of fun once again. And again, thank you. Have a good one.